Two parents, a new marriage, a 6-day Caribbean cruise meant to bring a blended family closer together. Three teenagers sharing a cabin on the 8th deck of a massive cruise ship. And by the time that vessel returned to the port of Miami, one of those teenagers was dead. Her body had been wrapped in a blanket, pushed beneath a bed, and covered with life vests. Someone had made a deliberate choice to hide her. Her name was Anna Marie Kepner. She was 18 years old. She had already passed her military entrance examination. She had a future mapped out in detail. And the person now charged with her murder is the boy who became her stepbrother less than a year before she died. If this case is new to you, take a moment right now to like this video and subscribe to True Crime Dav. Every case covered on this channel is researched fully, told carefully, and followed from the crime through the investigation all the way to the courtroom, so that victims like Anna Kepner are never forgotten. Now let's begin. Anna Marie Kepner was born on June 13, 2007, in Titusville, Florida. Titusville sits along Florida's Space Coast, a stretch of coastline where the Atlantic meets the Indian River Lagoon, where children grow up watching rocket launches from their backyards, and where the salt air carries a particular warmth that small coastal towns tend to hold on to. Anna grew up in that world, and by every account from the people who loved her, she absorbed it completely. She was a varsity cheerleader who competed at Titusville High School, then Astronaut High School, and finally at Temple Christian School, where she was finishing her senior year at the time of her death. She was proud of that team and the discipline it demanded. But cheerleading was only one piece of who Anna was. She had already sat for and passed the military entrance examination. After graduation, she intended to enlist in the United States Navy. Her goal beyond that was to become a K-9 police officer, a concrete, purposeful career built around service to something larger than herself. She was not drifting. She knew exactly who she was and exactly where she was going. Her friends described her as bubbly, outgoing, and always present. Her best friend, Genevieve Ferraro, who met Anna in 8th grade, described her as the definition of joyful, someone always looking out for others and always bringing light into whatever space she entered. Her family called her Anna Banana. She loved dolphins, butterflies, boat days on the water, and singer Shawn Mendes. She was constantly creating content on TikTok the way most teenagers her age were, and she had a habit, a beautiful, specific habit, of sending random "I love you" texts to the people she cared about. Not for birthdays, not for special occasions, just because she felt like saying it. Her mother, Heather, was asked about her daughter in the aftermath of this tragedy, and what she said was simple and complete. She was always happy. Anna's parents divorced when she was approximately 5 years old. Her father, Christopher Kepner, raised her. In December of 2024, Christopher remarried. His new wife was a woman named Chantel Hudson. Chantel had a 16-year-old son from a previous relationship. His name was Timothy Hudson. When Christopher and Chantel exchanged vows, Anna gained a stepbrother. 11 months later, she was dead. Before going further, something needs to be understood about the atmosphere inside this family in the months leading up to the cruise. Multiple accounts from people close to Anna paint a troubling picture of the dynamic between her and her new stepbrother from very early in their relationship. Stephen Weston, the father of Anna's former boyfriend Joshua, gave a public interview in which he described what he and his son had allegedly observed. According to Stephen, Timothy Hudson was obsessed with Anna, relentlessly pursuing her, despite the fact that they were now step-siblings living under the same roof. He described Anna as scared of Timothy and stated that she told people Timothy always carried a large knife. Joshua Weston allegedly witnessed, during a FaceTime call with Anna, Timothy entering the room where she was sleeping and climbing on top of her. Joshua told his father, who urged him to warn Anna's parents. According to Stephen Weston's account, he did exactly that. He went to the adults in Anna's life and raised the alarm. The parents, according to those accounts, did not want to believe it. These accounts have not been tested in a courtroom. They are public statements made by individuals who knew the situation from the outside. But they are part of the documented record of this case, and they raise questions that will be examined carefully as the legal proceedings move forward. On November 2, 2025, The Kepner Hudson family arrived at the port of Miami and boarded the Carnival Horizon for a 6-day Caribbean voyage. The cabin arrangement on that ship became central to everything that followed. Anna, her 13-year-old half-brother, and Timothy Hudson were assigned to share cabin 8343 on the 8th deck. Directly across the hallway, Christopher Kepner and Chantel Hudson shared a separate cabin with 2 younger step-siblings. The parents were close. Close enough, one would think, to hear something if something went wrong. The early days of the cruise unfolded without reported incident. The family had dinners together, visited ports, and did the things that families do when they are trying to build something new. But during those days at sea, Anna apparently had contact with another male juvenile passenger aboard the ship. That passenger is referred to in court documents only as Minor Witness 2, a boy from out of state with no documented connection to the Kepner Hudson family. The nature of that contact would later become relevant both to the forensic evidence and to the prosecution's theory about why Anna was killed. On the evening of November 6, 2025, the family sat down to dinner together. Anna mentioned she was not feeling well. She left dinner early and returned to cabin 8343 to rest. That was the last time most of her family saw her alive. The Carnival Horizon is equipped with security cameras throughout its hallways and common areas. Those cameras were recording that night, and the footage they captured became the backbone of the FBI's reconstruction of events. At 7:35 in the evening, surveillance cameras recorded Timothy Hudson entering cabin 8343. 3 minutes later, at 7:38, Anna Kepner walked into the same cabin. The cameras never recorded her walking out again. At 8:14 in the evening, digital records show Anna was still active on Snapchat, 36 minutes after she entered the cabin. That timestamp represents the last documented sign of Anna being alive. At 10:13 in the evening, Timothy Hudson opened the cabin door and stepped into the hallway. FBI documents note that upon opening that door, he was observed looking left and right down the hallway, appearing to check whether anyone was present. Agents specifically noted this was the only time throughout all of his movements that night that he performed this action when exiting the room. Between 10:12 and 10:49, investigators documented Hudson entering and exiting the cabin multiple times. At 10:53, he placed a privacy sign on the cabin door. At 11:21, the 13-year-old half-brother entered the cabin, stayed approximately 2 minutes, told the FBI later he did not see his half-sister inside, and left at 11:23. At 12:09 in the morning, the 13-year-old returned to enter the cabin for the night. What happened at that door is one of the most chilling moments in this entire documented account. According to what the boy later told the FBI, Timothy Hudson reached his arm out, physically blocked the door from opening fully, and said, and these words are quoted directly in federal documents, "Wait. Don't come inside." The boy noticed the lights were all on. The bathroom door was open. The closet door was open. Something felt wrong. He was 13 years old. He did not know what was in that room. Hudson told him he was changing clothes. He made the boy wait in the hallway. Then eventually he let him inside. That child went to sleep in cabin 8343 that night, not knowing his half-sister's body was beneath one of the beds just a few feet from where he lay. The following morning, November 7, 2025, a room attendant came to service the cabin. Anna Kepner's body had been wrapped in a blanket, stuffed beneath a bed, and covered with life vests. The medical examiner determined the cause of death to be mechanical asphyxiation. The manner of death was ruled a homicide. Prosecutors described the mechanism as consistent with a chokehold sustained for approximately 3 to 5 minutes, stating in open court that this was a barbaric, intentional, and thoughtful act. When news of the commotion reached the hallway outside that cabin, surveillance cameras recorded Timothy Hudson walking past. He did not stop. He did not look inside. He did not react in any visible way. According to FBI documents, he made no effort to look into the cabin, even though the door was open and numerous people were present. He looked straight ahead and walked away. Because the crime occurred aboard a vessel operating under federal maritime jurisdiction, the Federal Bureau of Investigation took over the inquiry. Agents collected forensic evidence, interviewed family members, and obtained the ship's complete surveillance record. They also had access to the digital trail left by Anna's own phone. When her body was found, the phone was missing entirely. Investigators discovered that the device had been pinging off Wi-Fi routers throughout the ship, creating a precise location log. They cross-referenced that log with surveillance footage of Hudson's movements the morning after Anna was found. At 9:50 in the morning, cameras showed Hudson leaving the cabin with what appeared to be something in his hand. At 9:52, footage allegedly showed him at a trash receptacle in a garbage collection area on a different deck. When investigators mapped the phone's GPS data against his documented route, the device had traveled the same path, from the cabin to that trash bin on a separate deck. A crew member subsequently located Anna's phone in that garbage collection area. It had been smashed. Someone had deliberately damaged it before throwing it away. A rape kit was performed. 2 vaginal swabs were collected. Both contained male DNA. One tested positive for sperm. A DNA reference sample was obtained from Timothy Hudson and submitted for laboratory analysis. According to federal filings, Hudson was 126 sextillion times more likely to be the source of the DNA on the sperm-positive swab, and 1.2 septillion times more likely to be the source of the male DNA on the second swab. The physical condition of Anna's clothing was also documented. Her underwear had been twisted and was partially inserted into her body in a manner investigators described as consistent with forceful, non-consensual contact. A second male DNA profile was also recovered, one that did not belong to Hudson. Prosecutors disclosed that Anna had apparently had consensual contact with minor witness 2 during the cruise. That individual was subsequently tested and excluded as a contributor to the most significant forensic samples. No surveillance footage places minor witness 2 inside cabin 8343 on the night Anna died. The second profile does not explain the privacy sign, the damaged phone, the blocked doorway, or the surveillance behavior documented throughout that night. Timothy Hudson was first taken into custody in February of 2026, initially processed through the federal juvenile system with all proceedings sealed. He was released into his uncle's custody in Hernando County under GPS monitoring. In April of 2026, a federal grand jury returned a superseding indictment, transferring the case to adult federal court. Hudson now faces charges of first-degree murder and aggravated sexual abuse, federal charges carrying a potential sentence of life in prison. He appeared in Miami federal court on May 27, 2026, and entered a plea of not guilty. He is presumed innocent until proven otherwise by a jury of his peers. On June 10, 2026, Judge Edwin G. Torres filed his pretrial detention order. The language he chose was striking. He wrote that the alleged first-degree murder and aggravated sexual abuse of a young woman in the confined quarters of a ship at sea was sufficient by itself to require detention. He wrote that no curfew, monitor, or custodial placement could be trusted to contain the danger presented. And then he wrote the line that stopped legal analysts when they read it, that the allegations suggest a level of psychopathy and lack of remorse that raises a serious concern the defendant can snap at any time, despite the well-meaning efforts of his caretakers. Hudson was booked into the Citrus County Jail in Florida. His trial is currently scheduled for September of 2026. Anna Marie Kepner was supposed to graduate in the spring of 2026. She was supposed to walk across the stage at Temple Christian School. She was supposed to report for Navy service and begin building the life she had chosen. She was supposed to have decades. Her classmates decorated her car and left it parked in the school lot for weeks. Her friends wore blue at the Grove Church in Titusville. The people who loved her found every way they could to say that she mattered, that she was here, that she is remembered. She was the cheerleader, the Navy hopeful, the girl who sent love without a reason, the girl who was, by every account, always happy, and she deserved every single day that was taken from her. If this story moved you, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to True Crime Dave. Every subscriber helps this channel continue covering cases like this one, fully, carefully, and with the respect that victims and their families deserve. We will be here for every development as this case moves toward trial. Anna Kepner deserves justice, and we will not stop telling her story until she gets it.